Only two genders, male and female.
How do we affirmatively make the case for trans people having the right to exist?
You know how many genders there were in 2021?
72!
It's a heated debate with hardened battle lines.
For the longest period of time, our society has viewed gender through a narrow lens, dividing people into just two categories, male and female. This idea, known as gender binary, affects everything around us, our languages, our laws, and even our daily interaction. But as we move forward with the growing voices, especially among the Gen Zs, we have started to question, is gender really this simple, or is it far more complex, fluid, and diverse than we have been taught to believe?
In this video, we explore the evolving conversation around gender, not just as a binary, but as a spectrum that recognizes beyond male and female, a spectrum that respects individuality, living experiences, and self-expression. To understand how people think and feel about this shift, we have gone beyond textbooks and theory. We have spoken to individuals about their experiences, unique insights, and perspectives to find out how gender means to them and how they see it, as a rigid binary or as a spectrum.
These interviews reflect not only a diversity of thoughts but also the changing tide of awareness, acceptance, and resistance that surrounds the concept of gender today. Whether you are just beginning to question the binary concept of gender or already accepting the spectrum, this video aims to inform, challenge, or perhaps even inspire a deeper reflection on how we look at the concept of gender in our times.
Next, let's dive into the interviews and hear what they have to share with us.
What does gender mean to you? Do you think it can change over time?
Gender is how someone experiences and expresses themselves in the world. As people grow and learn more about themselves, their understanding of their own gender can evolve, and that's completely valid.
So for me, gender is something that you are born with biologically, and I don't think that it can change over time, but some people might think that they belong to another gender, which is possible, I guess.
Gender is something that you define yourself with, or maybe the way you identify yourself as. It's not your whole identity, but it's a major part of it.
Gender can change. What? Gender can change over time.
I think 4 or 5 genders are, when 4 or 5 genders are considered, that's okay, but whenever you feel something different, you can't just make a gender out of it.
I don't think gender can change over time. The gender that is provided to you by God is a law of nature, and I don't think it can be changed.
You mean gender is male and female only?
Yeah, and actually, and biologically possible other genders. Other than that, I don't think other genders can exist.
Gender is something I think which is beyond your assigned sex at birth, and I feel a lot of factors like societal norms, upbringing, culture can affect gender, so I do think it can change over time.
Should society move beyond just male and female, or this division is important?
I think the male and female distinction has a historic relevance. It's important to society to acknowledge that gender exists on a spectrum. It's not about erasing the binary, it's about expanding our understanding to include everyone.
I feel moving beyond male and female would encourage more diversity and inclusion, so I do feel that we should move beyond the two binary genders.
In some aspects, the division is quite important between male and females. Females cannot perform all the things that a male can perform, and similarly males can also not perform many things that females can. So the division is quite important, and they should not be moved parallel in whatever aspect.
Society should go beyond male and female. Of course, biologically speaking, you can have different sexes, but again that has certain limitation. Gender is not related to only the biological anatomy of a human being, it goes far beyond that. So gender would be something that you would relate yourself to, or the way you would want to perform in the society.
So society should male and female is important, but I believe that there can be a third gender like they, them, or anything, something like that, or something that they might prefer being called by.
How do family and culture shape our ideas about gender?
They play a powerful role in shaping how we perceive gender roles and identity. While these influences can be meaningful, they can also be very limiting.
I don't know about family much, but the culture can shape your ideas to a great extent. Like we are seeing in the societies of Northern America or Europe, the cultures are quite open to such things, to such ideas, and that's why they are suffering a lot, and there is a lot of chaos in these situations, in gender situations.
So family and culture both, like it's very important. Like family is something that like you are growing with them, so obviously their views are like very important. And if the family is more conventional, like then the or narrow-minded, let's say, then your views about gender will also be narrow-minded, and vice versa.
I feel there is a lot of impact on your upbringing and the social environment that you have around you, in a way that you see yourself and see others.
Yes, there are very instances from which we can derive this, how families make our thoughts on this. Boys in Indian culture are said to go out of their house and come back with earnings, and girls are said to make their way to their kitchens.
Do you think gender roles come from society or biology?
I strongly believe that gender roles are shaped by society. The expectations placed on individuals based on gender, such as how to dress, act, express emotions, are all socially constructed.
Gender roles are a matter of social construction. Although some characteristics are determined by biology, cultural variation is a gender expectation that confirms that they are not biologically determined. While hormones influence physical characteristics, leadership, care, and emotional expression are determined by society, not biology.
I feel both play an important factor, because genetics and hormones do to a certain degree affect the way you behave, but I also feel like cultural and historical context also play an important role in deciding one's gender.
So I believe gender roles initially, like a couple of years ago, people believed that it come just from the biology, but now as people are evolving, now like society also plays a major role in it.
Gender roles come from biology to an extent. Society surely imposes some rules other than what imposed by biology, but majority of the rules are governed by biology.
Gender roles, it's a maybe question. It depends. It's related to both of it. Of course, biologically speaking, when we talk about gender roles, let's divide into male and female for simplicity of understanding. Women do reproduce. It gives them a certain limitation for that period of time, and that's why they become the major caregivers to the child. But becoming a caregiver for a child for a very short period and being imposed with that duty perpetually are two different things. It's okay to be a primary caregiver for a while, but after that, I don't think so. It's biology. I think it's a society that expects women to carry forward that role, and it does not only stop at caregiving. It goes beyond that to the point where it's also including a lot of domestic labor.
What do you think about using gender neutral words like they, them?
I think using gender neutral language such as they, them pronouns is an important step towards inclusivity.
I don't support this system. I don't like anyone using they, them, he, she, it, that, be it anything.
I don't think that someone's ego should be so fragile that they can get offended on such a small thing. And obviously I live in India, so I have not been used to using these kinds of words because it is not so commonly used in India.
Gender neutral pronouns are respectfully and inclusive of non-binary identities. Singular, they have a linguistic history and it uses challenges bases in language. Normalizing it creates a more inclusive society by acknowledging varied gender identities.
I feel they should be more promoted, as it removes any sort of bias and any sort of prejudice that you have towards any person.
If they specify that they prefer being called by they, them, then I won't really mind calling them by they, them or any other like pronouns they will.
Personally, I do not have any issues in such pronouns, but these pronouns cause a lot of confusion and chaos while entering in some documents or regarding some other person, because if someone is unaware of someone else's pronouns and he or she may use some other pronouns, that may cause a lot of confusion and misunderstandings.
Should official documents include non-binary gender options?
Yes, I strongly believe that official documents should include non-binary gender options. These ensures that they have the access to the same rights, services and protections such as everyone else.
Considering all societal regions, male, female and others are more than enough. Nothing else is required.
Yes, I agree, because when we add, like, non-binary option should be added, but if we start to add, every gender, like gay or lesbian is added, then there is no stop to this. Every gender will have a say that even our gender should be added in this list, and then again the same scenario that 100 or 200 genders will be listed, which is obviously not possible for an official document, because it's just not possible.
Yes, legal recognition guarantees dignity and equal rights for binary people. Canada and Germany have implemented third gender options which show changing societal norms. Inclusion is a move towards greater gender equality in legal and social structures.
Gender should matter in laws and policies. Law and policy is what? It's made according to the society we live in. And let's say India. In India, the society is very gendered. And if it is gendered, we would want certain pieces of legislations and policies that would support the vulnerable sections in a way that they have equal opportunities. It's not about giving them a lot of privileges or a special treatment. It's about giving them an equal standing with everyone else.
Yes, I think they should to promote inclusivity.
I believe like male and female, like they should be the obviously, but having a third option like or custom option, like you can enter your own pronouns, is also viable.
I don't think so. There should be just male, female, and one other. Otherwise, it will be completely pointless, because then people will keep on adding pronouns that they feel like.
So, the sex designation of your brain and body may not be as biology have described it to be. Instead, gender may fall somewhere on a grey scale. If societal acceptance can catch up with science, sex on a spectrum may have a future in human history. So perhaps the real challenge lies not in choosing between binary or spectrum, but in questioning our need to categorize at all. Can society handle the complexity of identity without forcing it into fixed frames? The answer remains unwritten, and maybe it should.